He said, your training is over. Another hunger came again. I separated myself. Fasting and praying for 21 days. And a voice came to me. He said, call there now. I caught him and he told me about Apostle Arome. He said, have you heard him? I said, who is Apostle Arome? I'm listening to Pastor Chris Akilome. Tell me about Apostle Arome. Who is he? He said, he's in Makodi. I said, nothing is happening in Makodi. He said, go by the library. I stood up on Friday. I said, it's late. Maybe on Saturday. On Saturday, I stood up. It was 6. I said, it's late. And on Sunday, I got up. It was 5:30. I said, I will go there. I couldn't rest. And when I entered, it was in March 2014. And Apostle was only giving a child the way of the Father. And when I stood at the door, he said, this is your Father. This is your home. What are you calling? It's called the power of ordination. It was Apostle that told me. He said, you are not a pastor. He said, if they make you a pastor, they will choke what God has put in you. He said, you are a striker. God has called you to go to the nations of the world. And he will have a meeting. He will say, Mike, go and represent me. How will I represent Apostle Arome Osayi? He was teaching me how to stir the fire of my ordination. They will invite him a JCCF convention. He said, go and represent me. Sir, when I heard Apostle Arome Osayi, it was as if a God was talking. I couldn't write anything. I marveled. Who is this man? Where does he come from? And then that man, in less than 2 years, telling me to represent him. Because God sends you to men that will build you in the days when the powers of your ordination begin to speak. Most of the meetings you go for, you don't go for them because of the publicity. Your steps were being ordered. Saul got up. He was looking for his father's beating asses. He didn't know that the protocol of ordination had been set in motion. He went past 4 nations. And when he came to Samuel, Samuel said, is it not because the Lord has anointed you king over his people? The guy thought he was looking for asses, but ordinations were manipulating him. Every time hunger comes, ordinations are manipulating you. Every time there is restlessness, until you attend the meeting, ordinations are manipulating you. Until you come to that point where you can hear the voice of God. For Moses, it took him 40 years wandering in the wilderness until the Bible said in Exodus 3:1, he said he came to the backside of the desert. There are no green pastures in the backsides of the desert. What carried him there? It was the power of ordination. And when he reached there, he said he came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And that was the day the scribe that wrote about the life of Moses began to write in heaven. The whole story of Moses before 40 did not exceed 1 chapter, because that was not part of what God spoke in heaven. His life began to speak when the embers of ordination was lit on earth, and he saw a burning bush that was burning and was not consumed. And suddenly God told the same man that ran away from Pharaoh, he said, go down to Egypt. I have heard the cry and the afflictions of my people. If you heard them, why did you come to me? Ordinations. Ordinations. They are the precursors of true alignment. The day the powers of your ordination begins to speak, you are ready to walk with God. Men who walk with God are not just disciplined. There is something at work on their inside. And you bow your head and pray. And pray. Alignment is the heaviest molecule of life. Men have no understanding, so they live for their appetite. Woe unto me, says Paul, if I preach not the gospel. He said necessity is laid upon me. Woe unto me, if I preach not the gospel. That's a man that has seen the vistas of heaven. Moses did not leave Egypt just because he felt like, the Bible said he saw him that was invincible. Ordinations were revealed. Ordinations were revealed. Kambaraha Batoa. Brother Dennis, pray for an activation, hunger, love for God, and the power of your ordination. And the Holy Ghost. It's a prayer festival.
Ratopa, Klite, Ego, Inekete, Ketiza, Harite, Kosise, Embretete, Parute, Ite, Kuto, Elekete, Kepete, Ikato, Yekete, Kusese, Yekete, Yekeraso, Yeroha, Laye Koroto, Mente inde ida kongra yelia esirato gra yeku akata men